And amongst the strong conditionalities that were put in place for Zambia to qualify for this, IMF stimulus package was the removal of subsidy in the energy sector. And it is the fulfillment of that requirement that now consequently or subsequently brought about the hike in fuel, prices to get to a level that is cost reflective of the fuel that Zambia is importing.
All right.
You also
Honorable MWEETWA.
That
it's interesting that you say that, but we've only got about 5 minutes to conclude. It's interesting what you've just said at the end. I mean, the explanation by the Minister of Finance was that the government took a decision to transfer some of the resources in the interest of some citizens in allocation of resources. But it's interesting for you to mention that it was actually a conditionality by the International Monetary Fund that was just being met. But aside from that, I think this is one of the questions that we should conclude with, is you as the United Party for National Development were for the longest time in opposition talking about how the Patriotic Front style of leadership was way below par. But after assuming office 135 days, one could argue that a lot of the discussion that's coming from the United Party for National Development is really in comparison to the performance of the Patriotic Front, which you yourselves could argue that is really setting the bar so low for yourselves, because you said the style of leadership of the Patriotic Front was always unimpressive, but it seems that's the yardstick that you are using now to evaluate your leadership, doing the bare minimum, like paying pensioners, paying off retirees, I beg your pardon, going on to pay farmers for product that they've supplied government. That is the bare minimum of what is expected of a government, but you are scoring it as a success simply because you're comparing it to the Patriotic Front, which you said was not a good government.
Well, that's a very, very interesting, scenario that you're putting me to comment to. Now, I want to state the reasons that the Minister of Finance advanced are actually the same reasons. I'm speaking from the same basket. It is not one reason that led to the IMF, conditions, but it is a number of reasons. And one of the reasons was having to remove subsidy. Where do you take the money that you are going to save from the subsidy? That is where I think you are speaking in terms of the minister. We are speaking the same language. Now, let me come to the issue you are raising to say that we are using a low bar of the Patriotic Front, level of governance,
according
and say if we have done what they've done or better, then it means that we are even better. I want to say we are not using the Patriotic Front as a measure of what we have done or intend to do. By the way, we are only 3-4 months in office. The Patriotic Front, as an administration, was in office for 5 years, 2 terms, 10 years. We are only, we've only been around for the last 3 to 4 months, and therefore we should be, judged in accordance to, we will be judged after that.